on today's episode, we are protecting your greatest investment and learning from your local professional realtor. And today's expert is Kirstan Rogers. Kirstan, tell us a little bit about your story in real estate, your highs and your lows.
Good morning, Leanne. Thank you so much for having me this morning. It's an honor to be here with you, and I greatly appreciate what you do for the community and for Keller Williams, so thank you. Highs and lows, golly, I think right now we all kind of experience that a little bit every day. What really stands out for me as a high is dealing with the clients, working with the clients and seeing their excitement. One client that we were able to help recently, and I'm going to now call him a friend.
After their greatest investment, a person's greatest investment, that's what they do. They become close to us for sure.
And that's exactly what we did, Leanne. We purchased their forever home, and it doesn't just impact their lives personally, it impacts the entire community. And I'll apologize if I get a little emotional. This is a dream come true for this veteran, this local individual who pours his heart and his soul back into active and retired military. He was in a smaller home in Oregon, and there wasn't the space available to him that he needed to help even more and give back even more. So we searched and we browsed and we conquered. We found a great piece of property up in Washington, and it checked all of his boxes and all of his wife's boxes. And it's just amazing. It is such an incredible high to see him be happy and see his pics on social media. Since he's purchased his home, he's having a heck of a time.
This isn't even about food, clothing, shelter, the hierarchy of needs. This is about fulfilling somebody's dream when you're helping them find that forever place and being able to really grow in his passions.
That is the definition of high for me.
What about your lows? We know that real estate can be tough. This is a tough gig some days, and we know that it can be challenging. Tell me about the times when it's been hard.
Oh man, I think sometimes we don't want to acknowledge the low times, but in that same breath, if you don't acknowledge the lows, then maybe you haven't learned from them. And so that's very important to take those moments when you're experiencing those. And I believe in asking questions. Sometimes I ask too many questions. Why is the low there? How did you get there? How can you do it better next time? And I'll relate to another client. We met at an open house. That's where 33% of my business came from last year, is being in front of people and helping people. And we found a great new build, and it was wonderful. And unfortunately, the builder would only work with people that used his wife as the realtor.
That's not having somebody's fiduciary best interests. And what ends up happening when somebody can't choose their own realtor is that they're being forced to be represented by somebody that doesn't have their best interest, but they probably have their family's best interest. And I can't speak for that person. I don't know them. And clearly this is the first time that I've heard that story, but I think you're about ready to go into the fact that, you were able to really represent that person and protect their greatest investment, which is what we're talking about here today. So yeah, continue on.
It came down to doing what's best for the client.
Right.
The client really wanted this home. We'd written a great offer, and it just came down to it. I had two choices in that moment. And it was either keep pushing for my paycheck and how I could benefit from the transaction, or do I release this client from our agreement working together and just say, hey, you getting the home that you want is more important than me getting a paycheck. There will always be another paycheck. There will always be another house. Right. But helping this client the best that I could, that's what needed to be done. And she got the house she wanted. So as much of it as it was a low, there was also just there was a high in it too.
Being learning based is really what Keller Williams agents are about. So I really appreciate that part of it. So what are three nuggets that people could walk away with? Your clients, fellow realtors that are out there in the community, what are three nuggets that somebody could walk away with by listening to this today?
Nugget one, I would say you set the tone. Activity is never really slow for us, right? People always need housing and they always need food.
I always say people are going to choose to live indoors, so I'm not afraid to stay in real estate. Yeah.
Yeah, if you think of COVID, and just how business has really, really changed, we are still doing the same things. We're just doing them a little bit differently. We're acclimating. So, like I said earlier, 33% of my business last year came from open houses. If I'm not doing as many open houses, do you think I'm willing to just not have that business? No, that's not how I work. I'm out there, I'm following the processes, I'm going through the steps every day. That is what's important to me, is that I'm available to my clients, and I'm not slowing down because COVID's slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, activity breeds activity. We know that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Another nugget, let's see, I'm really big on communication. I can't tell you how many times I'm told when I pick up the phone and call the agent on the other end to ask questions, and they say, we have 3 offers in hand and you're the only agent that's bothered to pick up the phone and call.
Communication is key right now in today's world for sure.
It truly does mean something. So, get to know who you're working with, ask questions, listen. And even if you have zero news, sometimes still communicating that is actually news. So just don't go stagnant on somebody, check in, remind them that they're important, and communicate. So I think that's good. Okay, third nugget. Let's see. Let's say, oh, okay, I got one. I have a little like catchphrase that I like to say. I say, happiness is a form of currency.
I love
I
it.
Despite that they say, money is everything. I said every transaction is about the client. And if you're down about something, that's okay. Take a moment. I call it an adult timeout. I need those sometimes.
I take those too.
Take a timeout and just, ask those questions again. Why am I here? If I'm upset, or even if I'm happy, what did I do that helped me get to this happy point? And acknowledge that. And when you do your goals every year or your budget every year, you look back on this year and you go, how was I successful? What did I do? Where did my transactions come from? How can I pour even more into that next year and be even happier, be even more successful? So happiness is a form of currency.
Well, that is so awesome. I'm going to write that down. I feel like it's going to be on the top of my computer after this meeting. I love that.
Thanks.
So, Kirstan, if you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Probably be something along the lines of positivity or giving back. There's always that saying, the cup is half empty or half full. And I'm not really sure if there's a right or wrong answer. But my focus would be, what is the cup filled with? If we use us as an analogy for the cup, and if I was to write a book, I would say, what fills you up? What takes up your day? We all have 24 hours in a day, right? And going back to the happy piece, like, what makes you happy? If you're not focused on the volume so much, but the density, what really makes us up? And if the cup is half empty, what are you pouring into the cup? And if the cup is half full, what's it made up of?
This is not a question that I prepared you with, but I'm going to give you the bonus question of the day. And we know that in Oregon, we had some really terrible forest fires. And I think about you, Kirstan Rogers, realtor, protector of someone's biggest financial asset in their life. and also a person that provides housing. So if I'm just looking at the core of who you are, you're providing housing, right? So we have these forest fires. They come in, they absolutely obliterate our communities. We had, I think, 500,000 people that were out of homes during that time and being relocated because we had fires burning from all sides of our state. And you opened up your property and you actually had some local politician that stopped by. You want to talk about that for a second and talk about the people that stayed at your home that you were able to provide housing to?
You know, we are blessed to be able to help others. It is just something that runs in our blood. And we made a simple post on a Wednesday afternoon and just said, hey, we have a couple acres. If you have already been evacuated, or if you are going to be evacuated and you need a spot to stay, come. Our door has always been open, and no questions asked. You know, there was people that showed up in tents. There was a family that showed up in a van because that's all they had. They didn't have a camper. They didn't have a trailer. So we gave them our personal trailer. And we had the mayor of Estacada, and he got evacuated as well. So he was out here with his wonderful wife, and it was just like a large camp out.
Definitely smelled like a camp out.
Right. Maybe wrong choice of words, but we turned our garage into a mess hall, and we served breakfast for people in the morning, and we had people come by with donations with toothbrushes and deodorant and diapers, and even other realtors. Dan Walter, I mean, he came out and brought blankets and sleeping bags, and you know, what an amazing time just to come together and focus on the positive. Going back to that density cup half full, these people had to pick up whatever was most important that they could grab in the moment, and just trust that wherever they were going was going to be a safe environment. And instead of focusing on that, we even organized a paint night. We put out some folding tables in the garage. We invited all of the guests to come. We provided all the materials with the canvases and the paint brushes, and we all got to paint a really cool Halloween themed that everyone could take home when they got to leave.
When they got to go back to their homes.
It was really good to focus on the positive and be able to provide. And they're all very grateful, and I think we are grateful just as much as them. So it was a great opportunity despite the bad circumstances.
Well, I definitely think that you are an amazing local realtor. You are an expert in your field. You care about housing. You put your clients first. You put humans first, which is obviously transparent through everything that we've talked about today. So Kirstan, thank you so much for being on today's episode. I appreciate you so much. Keep serving your clients at the highest level. I'm Leanne Harris, and that's how you get to know your realtor. Have a great day.